From the studio that's never going to give you Mother 3 comes the first foray into the 3D platforming genre for that adorable bag of farts we know and love that will answer the age-old question, how much that mouth fit though? Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Inflation fetish your way through a 3D wonderland designed for gaming's most beloved friend-shaped killing machine, where the usual mundane gameplay of breaking blocks and satisfying the world's biggest oral fixation is thrown into a Mario Odyssey-esque blender that mashes semi-realism with the Fisher-Price aesthetic you're familiar with, which apparently just means that Kirby now gets to bore a whole-ass car. In a much-needed makeover for the Kirby series that doesn't just involve people mauling about getting cheesed in Smash. You know, if it was unfair, it wouldn't be in the game, Kevin. Stop crying. You're 12 now. Sheesh. Jump in to one of the most narrative Kirby games that has ever existed, by virtue of it having any semblance of a plot at all, as Kirby is sucked into another dimension and tasked by Chinese knockoff Pikachu to rescue all the Waddle Dees from captivity, which is kind of like asking a dingo to look after your nursery. Then find the various Beastmen and beat them all into submission, using one of the many powers you've stolen from their friends and family, until the relatively tame and simple story takes a 360 into cosmic horror, solidifying the theory that Kirby is some sort of Lovecraftian old god. Oh look, you can rebuild the town with a nice cafe and gacha machines that are just desperate effigies to please the hungry one's dark passenger. Ooh, a fishing minigame. Blow your enemies to death in this family-friendly adventure, where you'll savagely inhale all the adorable animals to steal their powers and make them pay for existing in a world with this pinkish nightmare, as old abilities are revamped and new powers like just giving Kirby a gun are added, to give more variety to a much more open playing field, purely by having a third dimension, but that's still about as challenging as first grade math. Then discover the standout feature of Forgotten Lands, the Mouthful Mode, as you watch Kirby use his body like flesh saran wrap to cover a bunch of different everyday objects, blowing, extending, literally just being a staircase, and vehicular homicide, that are all basically used to solve complicated puzzles like press the ability button, which is all good clean fun if you can look past the fact that Kirby is just deep-throating a roller coaster. Also, if you look closely, Kirby's actually gliding with his gooch. Now you're also cursed with his knowledge. You're welcome. Zoom around the open world as you jet set to different maps, setting free the specific number of Waddle Dees that open the inevitable boss door, which you'll easily meet as your neurotic need to check every nook and cranny takes over once again. Then run around the rest of the time doing all the mini-challenge levels that put you into timed gimmick dungeons that will test how well you can use an item or power, where you'll somehow screw up and barely miss the time in this game designed for fetuses and zygotes, as you run the gauntlet of platforming and exploration to lead you to the true treasure of the Forgotten Lands, all of Kirby's fancy hats. Is there any better motivation to beat a game than vanity? I don't think so. So loosen that esophagus and get ready for a mouthful in a game that's as cute as it is fun and won't give you a hernia just to play, even if the entire thing is basically an extended blowjob joke. Look, you can't have Kirby knob a literal pipe and balls and tell me it wasn't intentional.
Take it all in.
Starring Pepto-Bismol, the Mad Catz controller, your long-forgotten Neopet, King DDD's nuts, Dr. Fetus, and
Kirby, get that thing out of your mouth, so help me!
Forgotten Realms, the Throat Goat. You ever wondered if Kirby could suck so hard that he implodes, creating a vacuum that could rip a hole into the fabric of time itself? These are the answers we need, Nintendo. Tell us what you'd like to hear in my epic voice in the comments below. I, Garland, will knock you all down. Better a bird than a brute. I am Millennia, Blade of Mikella. Chaos took the last chicky nuggy from my Happy Meal, and that was not low-key poggers. Cast in the eyes of God, ye are guilty.